right.
Come
Come on, live.
on, live. Okay. All right. Hello, y'all. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. We are so excited to have you here today. And I have my special guest here with me, and we're going to be talking about some good things about legacy and financial and all that good stuff. And I'm excited to have the woman of God here with us today. And if you are viewing this, you can share this live and pass it on. And Deanna, and we're going to jump right in. And thank you guys for joining us today. I woke up this morning and the weather was a little chilly.
Yeah.
I didn't have no
Whoa.
apple bottom jeans, but I was looking for the boot
with
the
the
fur.
fur.
I was looking for them boots. You know how we in Miami, we get a little bit of chill in the air, and we just want to
Bring out the boots.
Bring out the boots, okay? We want to do that, and I'm just excited to have this great woman of God here with us, and we're just going to share this. I'm gonna ask y'all as y'all get it, y'all share it as well. All right. So, Deanna, baby girl, if you got it, can you share that with myself and Candace?
Yeah, what page are you on?
It's on YouTube. She's gonna share it to our Facebook.
All right.
Yeah, we on YouTube. She's gonna share it to our Facebook.
Okay. Hey, YouTube.
Hey, YouTube. All right, so we doing all this sharing stuff, and we're gonna get the ball rolling as we're sharing on our Facebook and our social media platforms. We're going to get ready to dive right in. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shartanya Cromer, formerly Shartanya Quinn Williams. I recently got married, and I'm still super excited about all of that good Mary stuff. But we're not going to linger there too long. We just want to go ahead and get ready to jump into this podcast. But I want to let you know, I'm no stranger to social media or the airwaves and podcasts and all that good stuff. I was on WNBM. Shout out to them for like 3 or 4 years. I was on WEXY for a year and a half, and I'm so excited to have my start on those platforms. And now, so God has allowed me to branch out on my own, and there are greater things to come. And so, yeah. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Shartanya Chroma or Madam Shar. We have a lot of great things going on, but I'm super excited about today. I'm going to go ahead and let her get ready to pass. I'm going to pass the torch over to my guest today because this woman of God, I'm telling y'all, listen, I met her. She is a firebomb. Ever since I follow her, she always giving nuggets. And I believe within my heart of hearts, and I know because of what she displayed, that she truly have a love for people, God's people, kingdom people, and she's going to share with us her experiences and share with us how we could connect to get her services and building a legacy. And as you know, the topic for today is to leave a legacy or pass a debt, right? And so we're going to dive right into that. Deanna, sweetheart, you just find it where you can share it on the social media? Do you see it in your message or I send it to you? Okay. Make sure you tag both her and I share it. All right, so we're going to let her go ahead. I'm going to pass the ball over that she can introduce herself. Miss Candace.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. Hello to those of you that may not know me. My name is Candace Witherspoon. I am the owner and founder of Legacy Financial Firm, which is just one of the many hats that I wear. I'm also a minister of the gospel. I'm a mother. Yes. I love my baby. I have a son, and I'm also a wife. So that's who I am in regards to titles. However, I have a background of business, And I was into corporate America for about 15 years and decided to leave corporate America to start Legacy Financial Firm, where we help communities build and leave legacies.
Mhm.
And that is done through education and financial literacy,
Mhm.
getting us to understand financial literacy, as well as getting us to lead and understand that God is the forefront of
Yes.
everything. And so, in my philosophy of things, you will see my t-shirt says taking dominion in the marketplace.
Absolutely.
And I believe that when the Lord designed us, He had already deposited a purpose and a destiny within us. And His intentions was for us to take it and to grow it and to take dominion. So when the
Mhm.
Lord tells us in Genesis that He wants us to take dominion, He wants us to be at the head. He wants us to
Absolutely.
be at the front. He wants the people to be able to see us, the salt of the world. He wants us to be
Mhm.
able to see, for us to be the light in every place.
Right.
And I believe that because corporate America in particular, they're
Mhm.
very strict with separating religion and workplace.
Mhm.
They're very strict on that. However, when I began to thinking about when God created us,
Yes.
He created us and gave us the business as an assignment,
Absolutely.
a part of our purpose.
Yes.
And so who are we? Who are we to say, okay, well, I have to leave God out of this? I don't believe in that. I
Mhm.
believe that it is all the same, and that the Lord, when He, as believers, we believe that He created us and He's given us the business as an assignment. And so my job is to help us take that assignment global and help us to take dominion in the marketplace.
Oh
So
my
that's
God.
my goal. Every day that I get up, that is what I strive to do, to help business owners bring practicality to not only just business principle, but godly biblical
Godly.
principles.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's who I am. In a nutshell, that's what I'm here for.
Y'all see that? That is a well-seasoned nutshell. Understand me. All of that she gave, and I just love how she used terminology to make it simple for us to understand, for all people to understand, no matter what level you are, whether it's entry level, intermediate, advanced, wherever you are. She broke it down into a platform where you can understand. And I want to dive right in. I know that we're on Facebook, down you can see it. So I got my little assistant over here, my mini me. She's going to, if individuals have questions, you can, address them to us, Candace or myself, so we can answer those questions, because my aim is to be effective in every single thing that we do. God has graced us in many areas. And as you see that Candace talked about building a legacy, and that's what we're going to talk about. And we realize that building something, it always starts in the mind, right?
Yes.
So it starts, that's the place, the central place where it starts at. So we have to shift the mindset, because some of the bad habits that we have, and I won't just point fingers, I would say we have, and it passes on knowingly and not knowingly to our generation. So our kids learn by what they live, what they see us do. They adapt those practices without us even knowing and realizing it. So that's where we get the topic today from: to leave a legacy or pass on a debt. Are we passing on those bad habits? And we got the lady, the woman of God, the mover and shaker in the house today, and she's going to make some things plain for us. And I have a few questions that I'm going to ask her. We already heard her and how she came about with the legacy financial group that she has. And the first question is, what is the correct process to leaving an asset for your loved one? So like you're saying that you're building a legacy. So if I've established some things, and I know they say it's not good to have the mattress money, the money that we got stuck up there for our kids or whatever. What is the first steps into leaving a legacy? Because I remember growing up, my grandmother and my grandfather, they didn't want to talk about a will. They didn't want to do those things. They didn't want to talk about how much money they assets. They didn't want to talk financial to us in any kind of way, because they was like, oh, y'all want to talk about wills and stuff. Who trying to kill me, y'all?
Right.
Y'all trying to kill me out? We're not talking
Yeah.
about that. Because I'm gonna live till Jesus comes. That was the mentality.
They thought they were gonna be caught up.
They thought they was gonna be caught up.
Yeah.
That's a big one. That is a big one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be caught up to be in the rapture. We ain't
Yeah.
worrying about death and dying and all that. And listen, and
Yes.
unfortunately, they're no longer here, right? And so they left some things to our family, you know. And so I'm doing the best that I know what I know, and I plan to walk away with a little bit more clarity as I continue to embrace my legacy that was left for me and set up something for my kids. So what is the proper way to
leave assets?
Right.
All right. So this is a twofold question because we've got to get some background first on what the assets are, right?
Okay.
And so obviously the traditional way for someone to pass something down would be through a will.
Correct.
Right. So you would, put in your will, I want this person to have this, I want this person to have that, et cetera,
right.
yada, yada, yada. However, we hear a lot of people talking about trust. And the trust now. And so it's new to us as an African Americans because we are now starting to really take financial literacy.
We're waking
serious.
Up.
Yeah,
right,
we're waking up, right? So let me just explain the difference in the two. So if you own a home, which is an asset, right? And you want to pass that on to your child, then obviously you would write that in the will that, hey, this home should go to X, Y, and Z, and that'll be in the will.
Correct.
But if you are building an empire and you are building a business and you have several businesses that you would like to stay within the family and you would like specific instructions on how those things are ran, you have specific instructions that, hey, this should stay in the family, that we aren't to sell the business and we want to do whatever it is. So you have specific instructions with this empire and what you want to have done.
Okay.
That needs to be put in a trust. A trust dictates how the business is ran. A trust will also dictate who takes what position, what money, et cetera, et cetera. Have you ever heard the saying trust fund baby? Right? And a lot of them will say, well, I cannot get this money, or they can't get this money until they turn 18.
Right.
Or until they turn 25. That's because it is specifically stated in the trust that they cannot get whatever inheritance. And a lot of times they'll have a portion of the inheritance. So if I'm passing down an asset, if I'm passing down an inheritance, and I say, all right, I know with experience that as the child gets older, that wisdom comes, right? And so when you're younger, you're going to want to spend on frivolous things, yada, yada, yada. Then that's where they'll say, okay, if I'm leaving them 10 million, then at 18, they get 2 million.
So we're watching the child as they grow older to the level of maturity. I hope y'all got notes, because we're taking notes. I'm watching for the level of maturity. So if I see a young person has grown to 17, 18-year-old and they still have bad spending habits.
Correct.
So I won't make the move. And then a lot of times we put wills and stuff in place and we don't revisit them. So they are changeable.
Correct.
Right? They're editable.
You can always amend the will.
Amend the will. Y'all see? Right?
Yeah, you can always amend it. So if I, for whatever reason, I pass on and I say, hey, I want to pass down this, and a trust is put in. It's not just for death. A trust, you can put a trust in place now, and you can put the 10 million aside now, and the trustee will still continue to dictate when that child is able to grab access to those funds. So the trust is not just for death. It is for life and living too. So there's a lot of things we can get into about the trust, but to pass it down, we can use a will, which a will pretty much just gives ownership over to. And then the will also, you can put in there how you want your funeral, this is that and the third, like all those things can be set in the will very, very specific. But the trust will dictate how the empire is ran.
Wow. Y'all got that?
Mhm.
Okay, so and then so the will, it has to be what solidified, it has to be taken to a lawyer, or they can just draw up something, type up something and say, okay, this is my will.
Technically, they can. Like if they have a will and they've drawn up a will, they have a will in place, that's their will. But most of us take it to an attorney
Mm-hmm.
to have the attorney look through it, to give us advice, to tell us, hey, try this, do that, et cetera, et cetera. The law says this, the law says that. But if you have, where you're drawing up a will, because a lot of times you have wills that have been written on paper that have been put in under the bed or in the safe,
Right.
that still,
It holds weight. It still
yeah,
has-
it will hold weight in a court of law. It will hold weight, if you can prove that person actually wrote that will, and that was what their intention was, et cetera, absolutely. You can get it notarized. You don't necessarily have to go to the attorney, but we do that because the attorneys are supposed to give you advice, legal advice on the way things are supposed to be done.
Wow. Listen, y'all, we talking about to leave a legacy or pass a debt. Unfortunately, a lot of us Afro-Americans, I won't say all, so I'm not boxing anyone in.
Right.
We are not unaware of the procedures. And like we shared a few seconds earlier, we're waking up now, right?
Yep.
And we're waking up. And I thought that I was like, God, it's getting ready to go into tax season. And yes, we Afro-Americans, we love to look good. I love to look good. I love to accessorize. But we need to know how to properly manage our finances, right? If we're not in a good financial place to do these things that we see on social media, right, and we're following these paths, we should not be going that way. So we got the guru here today, and she's educating us. We're woke, so she's washing the crust out of our eyes so we can see clearly, y'all. All right? If y'all have any questions, I got somebody monitoring the chat, and she'll let us know of the questions as we move forward. All right, so y'all taking notes. I like to take notes. The number, the next question, we talked about that, and we talked about it being concrete. It's still will hold up if it's something that was written out by one of our family members, right? As long as we can prove that the family member actually have written that. Okay, so just like I shared earlier, we're going to the next question. I just got married. Right? And are you required to file your taxes together or separately? What life moments will cause this to go either way?
All right. So there are some exemptions for married filing separately. So one of the tax statuses is married filing jointly, and then you have married filing separately. To file separately does not mean that you are divorced or that you are legally separated, right? So to file separately could be where you have just separated and you have not been living with each other for 6 months or more, or it could be where you all decide to file separately because you cannot agree on the way to file or some things with the filing. Now, let me make that very clear. Let me give you an example. For example, you have a husband and a wife, and then the husband had a child before they got married. So the husband is on child support.
Y'all better.
Right? So the husband is on child support.
Go on.
So we know that if you file together, that they would take the return together. So whatever is owed for the husband, the wife's return will also go towards that, right? So let's just say that is the case. And if that is the case, then you can file what is called an injured spouse form.
Y'all got that?
Right? So if you file married filing jointly, you can file an injured spouse form. So you attach the injured spouse form, and then what the injured spouse form will do is they will take whatever is allocated for that particular taxpayer that owes the debt and send that money towards the child support. So you can still get your money back.
Y'all got that? Y'all can watch the replay if y'all didn't. Y'all better be paying attention. Get the name, know the name while she's accessible, you guys. All right.
Yes. So that is the case if you had a spouse that owed student loans, if you had a spouse that owed any type of debt. So one of the things that we do at Legacy when these type of questions come up or they come up on the intake form, is we would have that particular spouse, we would have both of them called what is called the offset line. So the offset line tells you whether or not the IRS is going to take your taxes.
Take your money, you see?
They'll tell you whether it's a personal debt, and it'll also tell you whether it's a government debt. It'll tell you if they're going to take your return, and it'll also tell you who the debt is for. So if either one of the spouses owe a debt, you can always call the offset line, and then the offset line will tell you the debt and then who owes it. So that lets you know that that individual's return will be applied towards a debt.
Oh, all right. Y'all got that? We didn't know that. We didn't know that. We're getting married and we're in love. Somebody say, what love got to do this? Listen, love ain't got nothing to do with this right here. We talk about building a legacy. You be expected, right, to get your return, and you don't know. You went to brother Billy Bob, and he didn't tell you about your offset line. Right. And now you're looking for your return, and it's gone because you want to catch up some bills, right, and do a little splurging. And it's gone. It's gone. Right? So we're gonna head on over to Legacy Financial, y'all. Me and my daughter, we heading over there.
Yeah.
Y'all better join us on Legacy Financial Lane, all right? Okay.
Yes.
Listen. All right.
So let me just clarify. So you can file together. You can file, the law requires that if you're married filing jointly, that you file jointly, or you can file married filing jointly and have the interspouse return a form attached, or you can do married filing separately. But let me tell you about married filing separately. With married filing separately, you get none of the credits, like those credits that they give you, the child tax credit, all that stuff. You don't get that. So if you have a child, you have a dependent, and you want to claim that with that married filing separately status, your return will be like this. And I just want everybody to understand, specifically because they've taken that child tax credit from $3,600 down to $2,000.
All right, guys.
So you really won't get a whole lot. Just so we know, I just want everybody to know
that. All right, head on over Legacy Financial, guys. I'm telling you. All right, so let's go on to the next questions. How essential is a budget? So I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and they was like, well, I don't make enough money to have a budget. Right. Right. Y'all saw that face, and I was like, no, whatever you have and what you're spending, what little you have, you can still put a budget to know exactly where your dollars are going. Because if you're trying to build something, you can build something with something small, right? Don't despise small beginnings. At least you have something coming in. Correct. So can you explain to us how important is a budget? So now we talked about shifting the mindset, right? We talked about leaving a will, some things to get in place that we've already not visited. We talked about assets and different things like this, how to properly leave things. We talked about filing statuses, all of these up and down my timeline, everybody getting married. So we got to make sure that we're talking about these financial things. Not to knock who you went to for marital counseling, but a lot of these things destroy marriages, destroy families, like financial things that were not discussed previously. Yes. Right? Yes. And we're talking about, now we're going to jump into a budget. So remember, keeping our young ones in mind, even if we don't have young ones, we have godchildren or other family members, or just us right now at this moment, it's still a good thing to be financially savvy and financially equipped and ready. So how important is having a budget?
All right. So let me say this. Most of the time, people shy away from creating a budget because we don't want to face reality. We know that we spend on unnecessary things. We know that we spend on just frivolous things. We know that. And for some people, it is literally a stance against them. It is you standing and saying, all right, no more. But until you get to the mindset of committing to doing the things that it takes to move you to the next level, you will always have the same bad financial habits.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you believe that when people hit the lottery, they go broke? So it's not always about just increasing the revenue and money, but it's really understanding how money works
Mm-hmm.
and your financial habits with money. Because whether you bring in 100,000 or you bring in $5,000 a month, bad financial habits will keep you broke.
You can say that again.
Bottom line, bad financial habits will keep you broke. No matter how much money you bring in, bad financial habits will keep you broke. And a lot of times, listen, for most of us, spending is driven by emotions.
Ooh, this is true.
Spending is driven by emotions.
This is true.
And so if we never know our money story, we never know how money makes us feel. We never know how, and it started from a childhood. On how, for me, I remember when I was talking with my friend at the time who was a part of the company, and we were talking about the money story. And I remember for me, when money was a big, I realized the significance of money. Wow. I wanted a bicycle for Christmas. And at that time, my mom could not get me the bicycle for Christmas. But everything else that I wanted, I got. And I wanted a really big, at that time, it was the big nameplates.
Oh, yeah, those were.
And I wanted a really big nameplate. And so when I realized and connected the dots that in order for me to get this, I have to have this. And my mom didn't have enough of this to get me this. Then I realized for me, it clicked. Like, all right. So if I want something, I got to have a lot of money. And so then it was, I have to have a lot of money. And so now I have to work a lot to get the money. I have to find a way to get money. And so now you begin to have bad financial habits because your desire for things is what's driving the money. As we get older, our desire to leave a legacy is now what's driving us to pursue the money.
Ooh, y'all better catch that.
So now our money story is changing as we get older. Remember, we just talked about the trust. So now the money story is changing. But bad financial habits, no matter how much money we have, will keep us broke.
Absolutely.
So budgeting is a good financial habit.
Y'all got that? Put that in your notes. Budgeting is a good financial habit. All right. It's a good financial habit.
It is a good financial habit.
And guess what? And so the way, and then we have a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs, and the way we handle our personal finances, 9 times out of 10, we're going to mess up the business finances.
Absolutely.
And the church stuff. Everybody's saying they the pastor, their ministries and all that. Listen, if you're reckless with your personal finances, your ministry finances are going to be reckless as well.
Correct. That is absolutely correct. And I believe that, so with budgeting, what you're doing is you're pretty much taking all of the money that you have earned, all the money that has come in, and you are designating that to a particular place or category, right? But that is done based upon, right, a need and not necessarily a want. It is based upon a need. So your budget should be clearly with what is needed to keep your household together.
Wow.
And then we add a category for wants and an allowance for
miscellaneous things.
Yeah, I know miscellaneous. It's gonna be very specific.
We gonna be specific.
Budget calls for you to be very specific.
Look at that.
If you have a category in your budget that says miscellaneous, take it out. No, because that's a way for you to slide that stuff in there. No. That's not what we're doing. That is not what we are doing. We
Yes.
are
That
no,
was good.
be very specific with what is needed
Mm-hmm.
for the house and for you to live. For example, you have rent or mortgage, you have your utilities, you have insurance for both home and car.
Mm-hmm.
You have a car note if you have that, right? If you pay tuition for your child or your children, that is a necessity, right? If you get your hair done, your nails done, and all of that stuff, you can put it in the budget, but don't put it in the need. You put it in a desired, right? So this is what for some of us, it'd be like, no, I need this to survive. So if you need it to survive, go on, shake it up and put it at the top. All right. But all of those things, you have your food, you have gas. Most of us, we leave that out. Or that's a category that we don't even want to go to because most of us overspend on food.
Yeah.
DoorDashing it, Uber eating it, Instacarting it. When you look at the end of the day and you tally all of that up,
oh my,
for 1 month, and you spent over $1,200 when you could have gone to the grocery store, cooked, prepared the meal, and ate out on the weekends.
This is true.
All of that has to be in the budget. But we don't want to do that because, again, a lot of us are afraid of what we are going to see. Amazon, and I'm preaching to the choir, is not in the budget.
Not in the budget.
Not if it's not a necessity.
Somebody give me a Band-Aid.
Not if it's not a necessity. 3, 4, 5 pair of shoes every month is not a necessity. It is a desire.
Mm-hmm.
Accessories. They are not a necessity. They are a desire.
Mm-hmm.
And so once you have, listen, the goal is to, and this is where I'm really, truly trying to get to. The goal is to live off 30 to 40% of your income. That's the goal. To live off 30 to 40% of your income. I'm telling you, it is going to change your life. When you get to that place where you can live off 30 to 40% of your income, now you're building wealth. Now you can have access to investments. It is, I understand, it is a struggle for us to get there. I get it.
Yes.
But that should be the goal.
Mm-hmm.
If we're living off of 100% of our paycheck, we are living above our means. Mm-hmm. If we are living off 60 to 70% of our paycheck, we are living above our means. Mm-hmm. I know it's tight, but it's right. I know it hurts, but it's right.
This is true.
So when we prepare the budget, we should prepare our budget on not only just a monthly, but a weekly. So for example, if I'm getting $4,000 a month, let's just say that's $1,000 a week. Mm-hmm. I also need to know what bills are coming out and when they're coming out. So on week 1, if I have $1,000 coming in, and let's just say I only have $200 worth of bills, you may get confused and think you have an extra $800. But you really don't.
No.
Right? Because you're talking about a budget as a whole. Mm-hmm. So many of us, we have to do that. Like, okay, if we get $1,000 a week, we have $200 of worth of bills on the first week, but then on the second week, here it is, it's $1,200. So you not only need that $1,000 from that week, but you will also need some money from the previous
to it. Mm-hmm.
Right. But you've got to know how your cash is flowing.
And I like the way you said the money story. It kind of like softens it up a little bit because people are afraid of the word budget, I guess. Like you said, it makes us accountable.
Yep.
So I think the story is a good way to put it. How am I spending my money? What's telling me what I could do, where my future is going to lead? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good.
But money story also has a history, which makes it a story.
Ooh.
Which means there's an origin and a starting point of when you realize how important money is, or when you begin to recognize the significance of money. And for a lot of us, it can send us left or it can send us right, depending upon what that experience is. Could you imagine for the person that realized that in order for me to get the money, I had to give up some of my body of what money says to that person?
Right.
That money is more valuable than your integrity, than your character, than your body and who you are. And so now we trade the dollars for our body. Could you imagine? So the origin and the history of what money means to us is the beginning of the money story. And we all have got to take a trip down memory lane to know what that is, and in order to understand where we're going.
Taking those, guys. We're talking about to leave a legacy or pass a debt. And it starts directly in the mindset.
Yep.
We are here with the amazing, the wonderful Candace Witherspoon. If you guys are not following her, y'all need to follow her, okay? Follow her on her social media. Follow her on Instagram. And make sure you dive in and get attached to Legacy Financial.
Yeah.
So we're talking today, and we just got through talking about the essentials of having a budget, knowing your story, knowing where it originates from. And that's funny that you said that, because I also talk and I teach mental health, and it always stems back to cultural. Right? Every culture is different. The way we're raised is different. And that plays a humongous part on how we live and how we start traditions and things, ongoing practices in our own households and families, right?
That is important. And, I always tell this story because I had the absolute privilege to be mentored by some older men in the business industry. Not women, it was older men. And two of those men were Jewish. And one was a Jamaican man, African American man, and he was absolutely amazing. However, I'm going to say the principles that were taught to me were different. And particularly when it came to the older Jewish guy, his understanding of money and what he deposited into me, I will never forget. One of those things was, I know, like, that's when I first learned that they were using insurance to purchase homes for their children as a graduation gift. So they would buy these policies, and they would what is called a universal life policy. And they would get a big substantial amount. Obviously, it was tied to the S&P, the stock market. And, with these policies, you are able to take out thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, big boy types of money. And what they would do is they would pay this premium. And then once the child was older and was graduating college, they purchased a home using the insurance money.
Wow.
So the child now had a home that was paid for as a college graduate. And so obviously they were in the workforce, they were in the field and all of these things. And so as the child got older and wanted to purchase what was called their dream home, the child would go and purchase the dream home using equity out of the home that was a gift to them, right? To purchase their dream home. And then guess what happened? And then they put a tenant in the old home. So immediately the child now has assets. So the child has a house that they were able to pull equity from that was a gift to purchase their dream home, put a tenant in the old home, receive payments, right? To help them not only pay their new mortgage, because there's no mortgage on the old home outside of the equity, and their equity payment. And so now you've set your child up by the time of 30 where they have two properties in their name. And so that's assets. Look at the difference. Look at the difference.
Huge difference.
Big difference.
Yes.
Whereas, instead of purchasing a car that depreciates,
yes, the moment you drive it off the lot,
when you drive it off the lot, or purchasing whatever, why don't we purchase assets?
I don't know. If people think that I've noticed and I pay attention to, if I look like I got money in a sense, then I'm doing something big.
Listen, let me tell you. Let me take these guys out real quick.
Real quick, y'all.
Let me explain something to you. And this is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned as a business owner. Because competition can create chaos in your mind.
Yes.
When you start to compare yourself to others, you now want to know, why aren't you as far along as they appear to be? You want to know, why don't you have this? Their business is, doing this X, Y, and Z, because maybe they have a lot of likes. Maybe they have X, Y, and Z. Right. And so now you start to create competition in your mind, and you're creating chaos, because you can no longer follow the vision and the mandate and the purpose that the Lord has given you to follow.
Come on.
Right. Because now we're trying to do like what they're doing, because we feel like what they're doing is yielding results. But can I tell you something?
Come on.
Do you know how many times it took them to get that perfect picture?
Come on.
How many times they had to take,
or how many filters?
Or how many times they had to take that video,
come on,
to get you to think, or what it took to get them to really start seeing the results. See, a lot of times, we put on social media, we put our wins, but people don't post the failures.
That's right.
They don't let you know how many times they failed before they actually got that one win, or those two wins. And I'm here to tell you, I've just gone through and in coming out of a season where I felt like I lost everything, and the wins weren't coming in. The Lord was keeping me afloat, but the wins weren't coming in. But I was still going on and encouraging people and giving them information and, doing all of these things. But it wasn't so pretty for me on the other side when I ended the live, or when I went home at night. So it is extremely important for us to understand that social media is just that. It is a platform where people pretend to live lives that they are striving to live. Not everybody.
I hope y'all caught that. People are pretending to live lives that they are expected to live.
Right. That they are striving to live. And so that's why it's important to stand firm and solid with who you are and what you were called to do. But if you don't know that, if you're not familiar with yourself, if you have not become acquainted with your purpose, then you are going to sway with whatever wind that blows. Do not allow social media to influence you to the point to where you become jealous or envious,
or lose who you are.
Yeah,
who God created you to be.
Of what somebody else has. Because I want to tell you, money does not solve the problems. You can still be miserable as a millionaire, and you can say, "Oh, well, at least I won't have to worry about that." But there are other problems that come with that you may not be equipped to handle if you have not gone through the process.
Come on.
Money does not solve all of the issues.
No. For
a person that has never had money, we believe that, but they bring along some trials and some challenges that you're not strong enough to fight yet.
Come on.
Because you still have bad financial habits.
Bad financial habits. And we don't want to hear, that's the honest heart truth. We still have bad financial habits. And then we go and we want to hear all the good prophecies. But if we're not doing our part,
right,
that's just wind in the air.
You can kiss smoke that prophecy, but goodbye.
There's a part that we have to do to access what God has predestined for us. Correct. He wished that we would prosper even as our soul prosper, but it's some things that we have to do to get to that place. And a lot of times we don't want to do it. We're continuously watching other individuals.
Right.
And we don't know, just like she said, social media, it's like a whole world where you can be whatever you want to be. You can create whatever you want to create. You can crop and paste and catfish and all these different things and have people believe.
Come on, and then even go up on the surface.
You can do all of that.
Absolutely.
And go home and still be broke,
Yep.
busted, disgusted.
Sad, all that stuff. But
Or
that's why the Bible declares that faith without works is dead.
dead.
Because there is work that is necessary
Necessary. Nowhere around it.
in order to get us to the next place. So don't let social media fool you.
Don't be
Don't.
fooled by the okie doke.
Don't. Yes.
And even if you started off as in bad financial habits, it's not too late to change.
No.
It's not
Absolutely
too late.
not. Absolutely not. One of the leading principles in that is let this mind be in you, which
Come
is
on.
also in Christ Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Lord, create in me a clean heart. Renew the right spirit in me. It is never too late to change. It is never too late. Put the Lord at the front of that thing. Seek ye first
Yes.
the kingdom of God,
And
and all of these things shall be
Yes.
added unto you.
Yes.
So it takes a mindset change, which means your perspective on things.
Mhm.
They change the way that you view things. They begin to change. And when you start looking at things differently,
Mhm.
you start understanding them differently.
Right.
So when you no longer look at a vehicle as I got this
Boss
car.
status now. Boss status.
Yeah,
now.
I'm boss status, but I got this car to show off to others.
Mm-hmm.
And more so of I'm using this car as an asset to produce, X, Y, and Z. When you start looking at vehicles like that and you start looking at things differently, then, you have a different understanding.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I bring this analogy up, and I'm sure a lot of my people, African Americans, we can will relate. Have you ever understood why that every time there is a festival, a new event, something big, or you're going somewhere new or whatever, that you have to purchase new clothes?
Yeah, we do that. We do that.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
You can have a closet full of the baddest things
And still
and
desire more.
still
Wow.
have to go out and purchase a new outfit for someplace you've never been and the people that have probably never seen you.
With that outfit. Mm-hmm.
We have wasteful financial habits. Wasteful financial habits, which in return, when you get more money, the habit just becomes a more expensive habit.
Mm-hmm.
So now instead of you going to Macy's, you're now going to waste the money at Gucci.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're now going to waste the money at Louis Vuitton. Have you ever thought about that? Wasteful financial habits. But we don't want to have those conversations. And it's mainly because when you get a little change, you now want to purchase things that you've never had before.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't maintain it because that money's not coming in like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
PPP came out. Gucci made so much money. Louis Vuitton made so much money.
Yes.
Their lines were wrapped around the corner.
And that's the truth. I went to Sawgrass and I called my husband. I said, baby, I thought people ain't had no money.
Come on.
All of the lines I'm talking about wrapped around the corner.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying it's not okay to have good things.
Right.
It's a great thing to have quality things.
You gotta prioritize.
But you gotta be able to prioritize and make sure that you can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it. Make sure that you can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. I want a G-Wagon. I really do. I really, 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 really do. But right now, I cannot afford it. And I'm not going to rob Peter to pay Paul to afford it.
Mm-hmm.
When the Lord sets me in a place where I can, I'll get one.
Right.
But right now, the Audi A5 will have to do. because it's what I can afford.
For what she can afford.
If
And
it
I
was a
like the way-
Camry,
but look, like what you said, when God puts me in a place where I can afford it, a lot of us step out before God and do it and say, now God, I did this, I'm your child.
yeah,
Now I need you to take care
I
of me.
need you to take care of it because I'm your child. When you done stepped all
you
out
done
of the
stepped-
boundaries of the Lord
Mm-hmm.
and not tithing.
Oh,
Car note so expensive, you can't pay your tithe.
can't pay the tithes.
You're living so above your means, so you don't see tithes as,
And that's something necessary to do.
right, when it's
God
first.
when God commanded us to do it, we have to do. Remember our kingdom responsibilities, and God will bless us abundantly.
Right.
And we look at some celebrities. The first thing they get up and say, "Oh, I thank God, for God all the blessings He's blessed me with." A lot of them pay tithes. They've unlocked something
Right.
because they began sowing seeds and paying tithes. They've now opened up
Right.
what us Christians take for granted.
Correct. So it is extremely important for us. It is extremely important for us to budget to live within our means. And I was reading, so I'm a part of this real estate group. And in the real estate group, we have our teacher, and there's a couple who is a white couple. So what they did was they decreased their overhead. So they decreased their overhead from 6,000 to 3,000. And so for 4 months, they were able to put away $3,000 in savings. So they put away $3,000 in savings, and it gave them the 20% they needed to put down for a commercial property or a commercial loan so that they can buy a multifamily unit. So they saved, they decreased their overhead, budgeted, decreased, and they sacrificed for 4 months, put that money in savings, and went and purchased a multifamily unit. So right now they have 6 apartments that are bringing in $2,000 a piece by saving $3,000 a month so that they can go and get this property.
We didn't even touch base on saving, how essential savings is.
Now listen, let me just say this right now. Savings is good, but you will not save your way to financial freedom.
No.
Saving is good. It is good to have something put away for a rainy day. But if we're looking for financial freedom, you're not going to do that way. That comes by investing.
Y'all listening? Y'all ain't look up Legacy Financial yet?
Yeah, y'all come on down. All our new tax clients, we're giving away cruises.
Y'all better come on now.
So you're going 4-day, 3-night cruise.
Look.
Mexico, Bahamas, the Caribbean, 4 days, 3 nights on the Royal Caribbean.
Come on.
Or Carnival.
Meet me at Legacy. Meet me at the Legacy. Hey, meet me at the Legacy. We talking about Legacy. Hey. Listen, y'all hearing everything that this great woman of God is sharing. God has graced us. And what a pleasure it is. And I know that unfortunately that there are a lot of people that are tainted and tainting the name of Christ and the body of Christ, but there are still some of us that are standing in integrity and holding up the bloodstained banner, right? With honesty and love, truly real love for God and his people. And I have found a lady right here. Listen, I'm telling you, once you find these individuals, you got to latch on and don't let go, right? Because everybody that's naming the name of Christ is not really living and loving Christ the way they should be, right? They have a form of godliness with no power. They're watching it on YouTube. They know how to act. They got all type of church etiquette, and they're not really living and showing results, right? And so this woman of God, when I'm on social media and I catch in the morning time, she's on there with passion and she's giving scripture and she's giving resources and she's giving nuggets on how we can build a legacy, how we can save ourselves, we can be self-sufficient, and she's right there to help guide us along the way. Listen, We're talking today about leaving a legacy or passing on a debt. No more of those days that we're so jacked up and so messed up that we got to get our phone bill, our cable bill, and our kids' names. It's no more that we're attaching our children to these things. We found out, we could put our child on our credit card, but the credit card is maxed out. It's no longer we're making bad financial decisions, right? Because we have individuals here that is able to guide us in the right way. What would you say to everyone that is listening on today? Steps on building that legacy. How could we get there? Like a quick and dirty of like how we can get there. How can we change it? Like I'm all messed up. Somebody's probably saying I'm all messed up. I'm all jacked up. I think God like you too much for me right now. They all messed up. Financial be messed up with student loans, credit cards all messed up, broke, busted, and disgusted. And then they came up with a whole nother way. They got Klarna, they got what's the other ones?
The Afterpay.
The Afterpay,
Affirm can be the devil.
Look, they got
listen.
And I got all that to be tapping into our accounts. They now opened up so many ways to keep us in this place.
Yeah.
Say, you know what? You want them Gucci shoes? You want this Coach bag? Come on and pay through Affirm. And they just got us in a way that we're continuously going on this cycle. And we're not saying at all that no, you're not supposed to look good or smell good or be in a good place. No, but we're saying that there's a perspective and a way to actually build legacy. And so we're gonna let this woman of God tell us to guide us. And then she's going to tell us how we can contact her and how we can set our appointment to get over there to Legacy Financial to get ourselves on the right track.
So I have two big tips that I want to give you all. And the first one is get your credit right. That's number one. Because credit is a way for you to you can leverage credit to build wealth. You can leverage credit to build wealth. I'm going to say that one more time. You can leverage credit to build wealth. So for example, with a 700 credit score, if you are a business owner with a 700 credit score, you can gain access to about $150,000 just by having a good credit score. This money will not go in your personal name. It'll go in your business name. And then you can leverage that credit, right, to pour into your business at 0% interest for 12 months.
Wow.
So you can leverage that. If you are a boutique owner, you need business credit. You need good credit. You can get that card. You can order those clothing, and you can put money in your advertising, your funnels, your click funnels, all that stuff. You need that. If you are just a business owner and you need to learn how to leverage your cash flow, credit plays a major part into that. So I want everyone, if you do not have good credit, or if you do have credit, I want us to get into a different space where we are using and leveraging credit to build wealth, not leveraging credit so we can look good in front of somebody else. Mm-hmm. That's number one. We've got to be able to do that. Well, that's not number one. That's just one of them. The number one thing is for us to gain control of our financial habits. You have got to be able to live within your means.
Yes.
Right? And you should know how much you bring in, and you should know what you are spending out every month. I say this to my business owners. It is a sad commentary when you go to a tax preparer and tell them to put whatever they want. It's a sad commentary when you cannot tell someone what you made and where you spend your money. That's a sad commentary as a business owner, because if you come to me as a business strategist, the first thing I'm going to want to see is your financials, because the financials tell me how stable your company is. And so if you are spending frivolously and you are not bringing in a consistent cash flow, then we've got work to do. Mm-hmm. So financial habits are major. We need to learn to properly budget, We need to understand how to cut back when necessary. But can I tell you, it doesn't matter what people think about what you drive. It doesn't matter what people think about where you live.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what people think about what you have on. As long as you are presentable, you are safe, and you can get from A to B, let them think what they please. You stay focused and live within your means. Do not allow this world to dictate and tell you how you should live your life and on what caliber and scale you should do so. I find that that is one of the most detrimental things to us as a people, that we live to please other people and not to leave legacies and build empires. No longer will that be the day where we spend frivolously. So we need to gain control of our financial habits, and we need to learn how to leverage credit. Turn credit into cash. Turn credit into cash. I promise you it will change your life. Two very, very important things that we ought to know as we go and tackle 2023. Gain control of our spending and bad financial habits. And then number 2, learn to leverage credit.
That's good. That's good. Learn to leverage our credit, and we're gonna move forward. It's still early. This is the beginning of February, right? It's still an opportunity to change the trajectory of your entire life, right? God wants us to prosper even as our soul prosper. He wants us to have those good things. He wants us to be in good health. And a lot of times financially struggling, it causes other health issues, right, to come into place. And so it's not too late. It does not matter how bad your situation may be. So don't be discouraged, right? Yes, we made some mistakes, and we can rectify those mistakes, right? We got the guru here. And how can they connect with you? How can we connect? What's the website and the social media handle, the phone number? How can these viewers connect?
Well, on Facebook, I am Legacy Financial Tax and Business Services on Facebook. I was trying to change my handle, but they were giving me a hard time. On Instagram, I am Legacy Financial Firm. So Legacy Financial Firm on Instagram, Legacy Financial Tax and Business Services on Facebook. The website is legacyfinancialfirm.com. You can also follow me on, I have 2 pages, Candace Witherspoon and I Am Candace Witherspoon, where I go live with our inspirations for the week and give nuggets on different loans, grants, and other ways to access funding and things that you all should pay attention to.
Right. Y'all heard that word, access? Access. And the only way we can get access when we're rightly aligned. We have done what we needed to do. We did our due diligence. We've rectified all those wrong behaviors that we had. We're now on the right track, and now we will have access because we did the work, right? I'm so glad you guys stopped by and visited with us today. We've talked about leaving a legacy or passing a debt. No longer are we passing on bad debt, bad financial habits. We're starting in the shift of our own mind so we can shift the mind of those that are closely attached to us, which being our young ones, our children, our family members, the people that we care about, even our friends. So we're changing the trajectory of it all.
Yes.
This have been so free. We talk freely today, and I know that you guys learned something because I've learned something. I am your host, Shartanya Cromer, and it has been amazing. You guys have a fantastic day. I'm going to check you out on the next one. Love you much. Peace out. God bless.